The Vantrue chime. Love it. You'll love it too. It's a sign that you're protected. So watch the rest of the vid for my review on this thing. All right, back to the, this is the abbreviated unboxing now. My last video was getting way too long. So this is the Vantrue Nexus 5, N5, for the slang of it. This is the main unit. So basically what would happen is this would be mounted to the windshield, and then this side of it here, I'm going to use some scissors to point to the parts. This side of it here would be the part that faces the cabin. And I believe there's 4 IR sensors in the corners on this one. What I like about these pivots, nice. And then the screen on this, I like the screen on this too. So on the bottom, you can change the view. So basically with this this button right here, you can change the view to have it, let me see if I can zoom in on that. So see, you can have like, hey, I want a small view of the front, a giant view of the front-facing camera, and you can change that stuff. What I find is I find it's better to just have, and I really like this feature on the Vantrue. This started with the N4 Pro, I believe, because it wasn't on the N4. But on the on this screen, you can have it so this camera, the cabin camera, doesn't show up anywhere. Because I found that like taking kids to hockey practice and whatnot, everybody sees themselves on camera and then they're self-conscious about that stuff. It's not an Uber. I'm driving like an SUV or a truck. So this is the front of the camera. Again, at this price point, spend the extra, like, I think it's $20 for the circular polarizing, the CPL, the CPF, sorry, the circular polarizing filter that goes in the front of this. Makes a difference in glare situations. So on here, you're going to notice this is the input for the rear power. So this main unit gets powered by the DC. So this is going to go into your cigarette lighter adapter. And then it has, what I like about the Vantrue one, hey, right angle adapter on this thing. That's smart. Some of the other brands, you have to buy a separate right angle adapter, and then it's just, now there's too many connections that could be faulty with that stuff. This is the main, like the huge USB-C to USB-C that's going to power and give the data, like the video and whatnot, get it, I should say, from the rear camera. This is the rear camera to the front. So this is going to get plugged in. It's going to get plugged in here. AV out is basically the power. I'm going to see if I can take this off without ruining it with one hand. Oh, there we go. Okay, so this is the way this is going to work. Is this part's going to mount on the window, the rear window. In any event, this is going to be the one that faces out, like the traffic behind you, and then this one is going to be the one that faces the interior of the cabin. And then with this, again, this one pivots. No, does it? Yeah, this one pivots. Sorry, it's difficult to do with one, but trust me, this one pivots. When I say if you do not have a cigarette light, if you have a newer car and you don't have a cigarette lighter adapter, you're going to have to buy a USB-C to USB-C, because the power in on this thing basically comes through the attachment on the front of this. Actually, I should take that apart too. What I like about the attachment on this is that the older one basically had like a little sticker, like these 3M stickers. I'll show you over here. It had the 3M sticker on directly on this part, and then you peeled it and you stuck it to the windshield. The power from the DC comes into here, and then what happens is this powers the main unit by just snapping it. Oh, I don't know if you can see that, by snapping it onto here. So I'll show you how easy this thing goes on. Basically, this just goes on, and it's in. So the way this works is this would be attached to the windshield, and then the front camera's facing front. This thing has the DC that you can that you're running to your power supply. But back to that stuff. So if you have to buy a USB-C to C to power this thing, you can do that. That DC in is going to have to be a fat cable, which is difficult to tuck behind the A-pillar and up under the headliner. My hunch, well, not my hunch, my tip on that, because I've done this, is don't run the cable. Plug the cable into the, if you're buying a separate USB-C to C, plug it into here, and then plug that into the power slot on your vehicle. We had a Maserati SUV that it was in the glove box. I forget where it is on my kid's Volkswagen. She has a Tiguan. In my Ram truck, I use a Dongar dongle, and I have a short cord almost like this that runs to the power rearview mirror. Those I highly recommend that you look at that stuff, because instead of it's a cleaner install and it's easy to do. But if your car doesn't have this, we have a GLC 63 that has it has a cigarette lighter adapter. It's on the underneath the dashboard, kind of like underneath the glove box here on the passenger side. So that actually works really well. But yeah, that's the unboxing here. This is the trim tool that it's going to allow you. But back to this thing. So the way that this attaches now, I'm going to pop this off if I can with one hand. Yeah, so I'm going to pop that off, and then the way that this attaches here is this slides in. Let me get my scissors out of the way. This slides in, this slides in, and it's going to be a better, pops right in like that. So now this is nice and clean. This 3M stuff, this is not going anywhere. Some of the other ones will fall off your windshield in the heat. This one's going to stay. It's going to stay put. So the other thing I was missing, I don't know if I saw it in here. The other ones had a cleaning. There it is. Yep. So I forgot about that. So I have one of these in my truck, but they have a cleaning kit and some electrostatic stuff that you can use to better mount this. I haven't found that that's necessary, but it's all good. So that's the unboxing on the N5. Sorry for the long one. The video where I actually unboxed it, wicked long. All right, so let's get to how this thing works. Hey, one thing I forgot to mention on the sides of the camera. So one side is going to have that N5 badging showing, hey, I got the most bomb camera there is. The other side is going to be the one where your SD card's going to be hidden underneath. So this thing should pop up just like lifting your fingernail under it. It should pop up, but there it is. So under here, you're going to have your spot right up here on the top is for your micro SD card. The reset button I'm not familiar with, but I know that in order to format the SD card, you're going to do that through the menu here. Now, when this screen is turned on, you're actually going to, these buttons on the screen here are going to coincide. Like this button, oops, that's tough to point at. This button here is going to coincide with this, like an arrow on the screen. This button the same, this button the same, this button the same. And that's how you're going to control the features and the sub-menus when you're setting this up. All right, so one other thing on that Vantrue. The reason I don't mount it on this side of the rear view is I'm a little over 6 feet tall. As such, if I put the camera in this area here, it's going to obstruct my view. So what I do is I mount it over here. You can't, I mean, you can barely see it. Like from where I sit, you can barely see it. I can see the wire a little bit. Well, the camera can. The camera's lower than my head. All I can see is the bracket. But yeah, so I put it on this side just because it makes more sense for tall people to do that. If you're not tall, it doesn't matter. You can put it on this side. But this area in general is an area. I mean, my head hits the headliner when I'm sitting in this car, and the seat's all the way down. So I mean, I could tip it back and go gangster, but it doesn't make sense. But this is the actual view if I look over there. So that's why I mounted on that side. All right, so here I am in the car, and then I have this mounted. This is mounted using a Dongar adapter directly to the power rearview mirror, so I didn't have to run it. Normally you would run it down, you would run it up through the head liner on this side, in through this area, down the A-pillar, and then underneath, and it's really easy to run a cord. These are so easy to install. I can't believe people actually pay to have this done. It takes like 10 minutes with that tool, but this makes it a little bit easier up here. So so this is the again, I got the N5 set up here. This is the original screen or the initial screen when you start off. So again, these buttons on the bottom correspond to that. So I'm gonna click OK for English. It doesn't really matter. I'm gonna end up GMT minus. Oops, wrong way. I think we're -5. New York, close enough. I prefer day, month, year, just because that's the way it should be. And I'm not going to set this right. Actually, 1329. What do we got? It knows. It's somehow. I don't know how that does. How it knows that stuff. So I'm just going to click through to basically accept that. I'm gonna stay on 60 miles per hour. 5G is defaulted, and then I am going to format, so I have the SD card already installed in here. I'm going to format that just by pressing the OK button, and then it's going to format. You should probably do that every month or so anyway, just to write over stuff and make sure. I have a 256 in there. It records a lot. I have it on a 5-minute loop, and then basically it just gets, after it does 5 minutes, it records another 5 minutes, another 5 minutes. When it gets to the end of that stuff, it's all good. So on this, you can see on the, let me see if I have anything to point with. I'm gonna see if I have a pen, no pens. Yep, here we go, I got a pen. So on this, up top, what you're looking at in this corner is the camera, like the camera that I'm holding. Hey, what up, playa? The but that's the cabin. That's the cabin view, and I'm going to show you how to change that. The view on this is with this underneath, and then you can change that so that's full. Oh no, that's huge for. See if I can show that stuff. I don't know. It'll show. That's huge for the rear, and then small for the front. I'm going to hit it again. It's all front, and then it should go all towards the rear on that one. I don't know if that's coming out on the camera. In any event, the reason I like this is because you can shut off that the view from the inside. But I mean, look at the broad spec on this thing. I did not put the polarizing filter on this thing yet, but I mean, seriously, this is pretty bomb. So that's yeah, that's the install on this thing. It's pretty, or that, not the install, that's the review on this. These cameras are great. So I highly recommend Vantrue.